And now, it's Boomer Life, lifestyle discussion designed to make your life more engaging, meaningful, and complete. Celebrating the baby boomer generation, this is Boomer Life on CIL 650.
And welcome to Boomer Life on CIL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton, and today we're talking about dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Research shows that 1 in 3 people will at some point be affected or associated with a family member with Alzheimer's. So today we hope to inform and educate, dispel some myths, and give information that can benefit all of the community, not just those suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's, but basically for those of you who dementia and Alzheimer's has touched, we want you to know that you're not alone. The Society is working to change the dementia journey. So joining us in the studio today from the Alzheimer's Society of British Columbia is their CEO, Maria Howard. So Maria, thanks again for joining us today, and welcome to Boomer Life.
Oh, thank you, Joanne, for having me.
In our last conversation, we talked a lot about the introduction of the Alzheimer's Society of BC, and we talked about the work that the Society is doing to help support people with dementia and their families all throughout the province. Now, for those of you who are interested, there's a ton of information available about the Society, as well as some resources on the website. You can go online at AlzheimerBC.org. This week, we hope to continue this conversation, and we're going to look in a little more detail at some of the work that people are doing to change the dementia journey through education and advocacy, research, and fundraising. It's going to be an excellent hour that we get to speak with you. So can we just start off and remind our audience a little bit about the role of the Alzheimer's Society of BC and a little bit about the disease itself?
The Alzheimer's Society of BC has been around since the early 80s, and the commitment of the Society is to help all those in British Columbia who are impacted by Alzheimer's or any other type of dementia. We do that through 3 primary focuses. We offer First Link, which is our early intervention outreach program that helps connect people and families who have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's or another dementia to the necessary support and education that they really will benefit from to make some decisions about their own personal experience and what they can do to make their journey just that much more fulsome. We offer a lot of education. We have a program called Dementia Friendly Communities, which really focuses on the community, and it looks at how we can do culture change and support people with dementia in the community. We are also very committed to research and raising dollars for that. Our tagline for our society is Help for Today, Hope for Tomorrow, and that's really focused on helping people today, but recognizing that by supporting research to look for a cause and a cure, that hopefully others in time will not be as impacted as a journey.
That's right. And there is no cause and there is no cure. And is there an actual, like a lay description, a layman's term of what Alzheimer's or dementia is? Like an easy, understandable definition?
That's a great question. I think many people get confused between the terms Alzheimer's and dementia. Dementia is like an umbrella term. It talks about, it refers to any type of disease that has a neurological impact. It's an overall umbrella term, where Alzheimer's would be a specific disease that sits under dementia. There are many types of dementias that impact people, and it impacts their neurological function. Alzheimer's, though, is the most prevalent, and the Alzheimer's Society, while we focus and support people with Alzheimer's, it's not just exclusive or inclusive to Alzheimer's. It's also helping anybody with the other type of dementias.
So let's talk a little bit about the initiative of the Society for a dementia-friendly community. Why do you consider this so important?
The dementia-friendly community is a really important concept to roll out to many different communities. The first thing that is really important to understand is that we know that there are over 70,000 people that live in our province with Alzheimer's or dementia. And we know that that number is going to continue to grow and double within the next probably 15 to 20 years. What is more staggering than that, though, is that we know that 70,000 or 60% of those 70,000 people actually live in the community. And that's not staggering because that's concerning. That's staggering because that really shows that everybody in the community is probably touched by somebody who has the experience with Alzheimer's. And so if we think about community and why that is so important in our lives, the dementia-friendly community focuses on the idea of going into a community and talking about the ways that we can support people who live in the community with dementia and their families to have a better quality of life. And a community can be a community could be defined as a municipality, as a town,
a neighborhood.
A neighborhood. It could be a book club. It could be the library. It's a group of people who come together with a common focus who want to support each other.
Right. So how are some of the ways that we can actually create a dementia-friendly community? Do you have any examples?
There are many ways that you can focus on a dementia-friendly community. The Alzheimer's Society of BC has been working with a number of municipalities. In fact, in February, the City of New Westminster was the first trained and accredited city council to be a dementia-friendly community. And their commitment to their city, to New Westminster, is to look at bylaws and policies in the city that make it easier for people to be safe, to have access. It's like signages that are a clearer font. It's ideas in terms of bylaws that make it easier for people to register for licenses. It looks at community change in terms of benches, park benches. We often see communities that want to be innovative and create benches that have a creative idea, like maybe a tulip or a dolphin, depending on where they are. But really, a park bench needs to look like a park bench, and that helps people with dementia who need to maybe find a place to sit down when they're walking and they're tiring.
They need to feel safe. They need to be able to feel supported in that community as well.
They need to feel that the community where they have contributed and been a productive member is still their community, and that when they go out and do their normal activities of daily living and the things that they like to do from a social perspective, from a physical fitness perspective, are still available and open to them. And if they do get into challenges or they have limitations that make things maybe a little difficult, the community is going to welcome that and not stigmatize them, but actually reach out and support them. And we all want that in our community. But just going that extra little way and having a little extra awareness to support people with dementia makes a big difference.
So you mentioned some of the limitations of somebody who might have dementia or Alzheimer's, and you also talk about changing attitudes in that community. We will be having a special guest on our show today, Jim Mann. He's going to be in the next segment talking to us about fighting that stigma. But can we talk a little bit about some of the myths or myth busting, as you call it? Can you give us an example or two of some common myths that are associated with the disease and in regards to limitations or our perception of somebody who has dementia or Alzheimer's?
I think one of the things that we hear over and over again is that people believe that getting Alzheimer's is just a natural part of aging, and that as people get old and you go into your 70s, your 80s, it just happens. And that really is not the case. Alzheimer's is not a normal part of aging. As we all age, we all begin to experience different sort of cognitive changes. Memory sometimes in terms of things that you've put down and you can't quite remember it is. Those are all normal changes.
Everyday activities. Absolutely. Like losing your keys or forgetting where you put your book.
That's right. But the cognitive changes that come with Alzheimer's are not normal parts of aging. And that might be like you see that it's raining out, but you don't think about putting on a light shirt and shorts to go out. Or it's being lost in a neighborhood that you've walked in and been in for years and years, and you know you're lost, but you really just don't know what to do. Those are not normal changes. And the other thing is that Alzheimer's does impact people who are younger than 70, 80, and we do know that people even in their 40s and 50s can be diagnosed. And while age does tend to be the biggest risk factor, there are other risk factors that do impact, such as genetics, and women tend to be the ones who are diagnosed most frequently. So it's not a normal part of aging, and that's what we want people to understand.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one to remember. You mentioned earlier that sometimes small actions will make a big difference. What are some more examples of the small actions that we can take to help make a better community?
I think if you are out in the community and you see someone who looks maybe a little lost or a little confused, taking the time just to ask them if they need some help, reaching out to them in a very calm, empathetic manner, and using questions that are what we would call close-ended questions. So rather than saying, where might you be going, say, can I help you go somewhere? And use the language that makes the choices simpler for the person. I think the other big thing is recognizing that the person maybe not be choosing the right words to have the conversation. So responding to how the person may be emotionally talking to you or their feelings rather than listening to the words and responding directly to that.
Mm-hmm. So as a member of the community, how is somebody like myself able to get involved? What can I do to help?
Oh, there are many ways to get involved. Certainly, as a community member, if you have neighbors or you have people who are living in your neighborhood you know have Alzheimer's dementia and their families, by reaching out and supporting them. Volunteering with the Alzheimer's Society. We have a number of support groups around the province. We hold a number of events that we're always looking to have people come help with or just attending. It's also starting the dialogue with your friends and your family and beginning to talk about dementia and trying to change the culture about what people think the disease is and isn't.
So if somebody were sitting at home now, listening, questioning, wondering, worried about where they are in their state of affairs in their life, and they might have questions about the Alzheimer's Society, or maybe they're nervous or suspecting that they might have it, what would be the first thing they should do?
I would strongly encourage them to go to our website. It is full of lots of information. It also provides questions that one may take to talk to their doctor about. We have a Alzheimer's dementia helpline. People are welcome to phone that helpline Mondays to Fridays. The number is listed on the website depending upon where they live. Reach out, ask questions, get some answers, and don't panic, but start to educate oneself. There are lots of other diseases that are completely treatable that may look like Alzheimer's, and by starting to eliminate what's happening for a person, one can get clearer about really what the situation is.
And I understand there is no one specific test that somebody can take to determine if they have Alzheimer's?
There is no one single magical test. People are diagnosed in a number of different ways. It really means a relationship with their family physician to start to look at their own situation. People don't have the same symptoms when they have Alzheimer's or dementia. Some people may have more cognitive limitations. Other people may have more physical limitations. Everybody is unique in how they respond to the diagnosis. So it's really important to start working with your physician and going through that journey.
That's excellent. Maria, thank you very much. You are listening to Boomer Life. I'm Joanne Sutton. I'm joined in studio today with the Alzheimer's Society of BC CEO. This is Maria Howard. If you want more information about the Society, just check them out online, alzheimerbc.org. And coming up next, the Alzheimer's Society is trying to reduce the stigma attached to the disease and to help us understand our role in making communities more dementia-friendly. We're about to meet a very special gentleman. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and we're going to hear his story. That's coming up next on Boomer Life on CL 650.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.